Well, as I always say, Mondays are usually the most boring days starting the week. However, I intend to keep your Mondays fun and exciting. Now, for today's episode, we're just going to be doing a one review episode only. Now, if you guys have been aware already, Stardom has already wrapped up the 5-Star Grand Prix, their annual round robin tournament. Now, I did not immediately was able to review it, but due to circumstances, I was able to watch it and, of course, try to do my review on this one. So, we're just going to focus on this one. So, we're going to see who, in fact, walked away as the winner for this year and other matches that were involved as well. It seems more we have, of course, two title matches, the future and the IWGP Women's Championship, and everything else. And then, as always, we'll cap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. Let's call this meeting into order. So, we're going to be doing only a one review episode, so let's get to it. So, let's start with Stardom. Okay, Stardom. The 5-Star Grand Prix. This is day 13, and it's also the finals of the 5-Star Grand Prix. It's been a wild, crazy ride to see who, in fact, is going to make it all the way to get the ultimate prize. So, we opened up, of course, this happened on the 23rd of August, which was this past Saturday. I think it was, I don't remember the name of the venue, but anyway, we opened up with the members of Star, Saya Ida, and Hanan. They team up with B. Priestley to take on Hate, consisting of Raka, Natsuko Tora, and Saya Kamitani. Now, keep in mind, folks, B. Priestley, as you probably know, and I mentioned this on a previous news update on one of the recent episodes, that Kamitani will defend the red belt against B. Priestley. Now, I mentioned this before. This is one of those moments where, of course, Saya Kamitani cannot afford to let this loss that she had at the 5-Star Grand Prix towards Kamitani go. So, you probably can guess that's going to happen. But, of course, like any other type of way, we know that Hate will definitely try to cheat their way through by cutting by using weapons. Of course, Raka used the box onto Saida, giving Kamitani the opportunity to apply the Star Crusher, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. But you know Kamitani is determined to destroy Bea Priestley to reclaim that loss that she had during the 5-star Grand Prix. Now, let's jump into the finals of the Red Star block in the 5-star Grand Prix. We have Rina and Azumi. Now, of course, Rina, as you know, she's been very impressive, has been, in fact, of course, going through anybody that stood in her way. But apparently, of course, she had a couple of losses as she goes. But she's facing against Azumi, who many people have always admired how she has grown so much. And I think there are those who believe that she is the rightful person. But, however, I do believe that some of the homegrown fan base believe that Rina should be at the top. But, of course, you know Rina would do whatever it takes to win. But in the end, Azumi applied the Azumi Sushi. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So she made it to the finals, the face who walks out from the Blue Stars. Now, the Blue Stars, of course, we have Momo Watanabe versus Sayuri Anu. Now, of course, we all know Momo is a member of Hate, that she would definitely try to win this whole thing. And not to mention, she has Hate to do her dirty work. And that's exactly what she tried to do. She tried to use the bat. Even Sayuri Anu used the bat, but not in the way she would expect. But unfortunately, Momo Watanabe was able to pick up the win when she applied the Peach Sunrise. And just like that, she's in the finals facing her old pal, Azumi. And I have to say, we'll get to the final because I think there's a lot of history that many people may or may not, or many people may have remembered, and those who may not know about it or forgotten, however you want to see it. Now, our next match, we have EXV consistent of Rian, Hanako, and Waka Tsukiyama taking on the Cosmic Angels, consistent of Sayuri Anu, Sayaka Kurara, Aya Sakura, and Natsupo. Now, of course, it's interesting moment. Now, remember, there has been there is some interesting things here because there's been some very interesting animosity between both Aya Sakura and Hanako. Remember, they are part of the same class and they debuted together back in March of 2023. And of course, I'm sure Aya Sakura was never happy with Hanako aligning herself with Waka because Aya Sakura used to say that Waka is annoying as her instructor. And of course, Waka didn't like that. And not to mention, Waka assumed that she would join EXV, but it didn't happen in that fashion. But it was in fact, what's her name? Sakura, who finally got a win over Waka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, during the post-match comments, it was later foretold that Aya Sakura has declared to be the next challengers for the New Blood Tag Team belts, along with Sayaka Kurara. But of course, the rivalry between Hanako and Aya Sakura continues to spread. So the real question is, when it's going to happen? I'm going to presume at the next New Blood event, if that's the case. So if that happens, it would be possibly, because recently, I haven't reviewed it yet, but Aya Sakura recently just lost the Sendai Girls Junior World Championship. So in my perception, I would think that maybe there's the possibility that she will finally get a championship within Stardom. So that's something I think we could expect if that's the case, because we rarely see Hanako and Waka defend those belts that much, but we'll see. Now, our next match, we have a three-way match. We have Yuna Mizumori, Saki Kashima, and Mei Sita. And of course, we all know Saki Kashima with her shenanigans that she will try to avoid, of course, the confrontation, but none of it mattered anyway, regardless of what Kashima would do. But as you look at Yuna Mizumori, she still seems like she has still unresolved business that she has an attempt to, and that is, of course, Mei Sita. If you all remember, ever since she made the jump to go for the high-speed belt, this is a belt that she has been aiming for and has been eluding her ever since. And this could be the perfect opportunity to happen. But what's surprisingly, it was, of course, Yuna Mizumori that was able to pick up the win on Kashima with the Supergirl, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, during the post-match, Yuna Mizumori had some things to say towards Mei Sita, and I wouldn't be surprising that she's requesting to be the challenge for the high-speed belt once again. I think she might have lost to her at least maybe one or twice. If that's the case, most likely she could win another opportunity for this. But we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I think this is how it's going to be. So we'll see when that announcement will happen. Now, our next match, we have Dark Silhouette from CML teaming up with FWC, Koguma and Azuki, taking on the members of Mi Vida Loca. As you all know, Bozilla made her way to the UK to participate for Forbidden Door, in case anybody asks. So in this case, it was just Akira Kurigani, Rina Yamashita, and Suzuki. So of course, nothing too special about this match, but of course, we know FWC have some great capabilities as a tag team, but teaming up with Dark Silhouette, it's a whole different story. But in the end, it was Rina Yamashita that was able to pick up the win on Koguma with the Splash Mountain, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now our next match, we have God's Eye, consisting of Tomoka Inoue and Ami Sori, taking on Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, and Starlight Kid. Now I have to say, this is one of the most intense matches I've ever seen, because as you probably know, God's Eye are trying to get back into full force for obvious reasons. As you know, they're trying to make their play as much as possible with the return of Ami Sori, who was in fact out of injury, Shuri, who is still recovering from her recent surgery from an injury she obtained. So you probably can guess that's what the idea is. But unfortunately, this match ended with Tomoka Inaba applying the figure 4 leg lock on Amasaki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, it seems that Tomoka Inaba made an interesting play. She called out Starlight Kid, and it seems now she's aiming for the white belt. So that's going to be a very interesting match to watch. So I can't wait to see it. Now, this is one of 2 championship matches on our next match. The future of Stardom Championship. We have a bit of a God's Eye showdown. We have Rana Yagami versus Hina. Now, this is not the first time Rana Yagami, as you know, has challenged for this belt. Last time she lost, but this time she's going to try to put a little bit of effort, and I feel that she has grown a little bit. It seems like she has improved her artistic form as a wrestler and sharpened her skills as both striker and submission specialist. But in the end, it was Hina who applied a submission move of her own when it looked more like a crossfade or a crossfade of some sorts, a modified type, and just like that, Ranagami had no choice but to tap. However, the celebration was cut short with the arrival of Yuria Him, who now is issuing herself as the next challenger for the future belt. So that's going to be interesting. As you all know, Yuria Him is now officially a member of Stars. So she's going to make the play for this one. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one, since we will be getting closer to that. Now, our next match, which is our last of the championship match, we have the IWGP Women's Championship, Konami versus Suri. Now, for those who may remember, Konami defeated Suri in the 5-star Grand Prix, going out of her way saying that I avenged Shuri for the loss. However, Shuri mentioned in the commentary she doesn't know what to feel about what she said, that she avenged her for losing the IWGP title. I think for her, she's a little bit conflicted. You gotta remember, Konami betrayed her, stabbed her in the back to join Hate. And not to mention, she never asked her to do something like this. But that's pretty much it. But of course, when it comes to Konami, you all know Hate will do whatever it takes to obtain this belt and try to make their point that they're the ones in control in the pro wrestling world. But of course, Suri refuses to stay down no matter what Konami tried to do. But in the end, it was Suri with a multiple of Unagis, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, Konami had some things to say to her. Of course, Konami, who hates Suri due to the fact that she's an outsider who had no business to criticize them in any way possible. But Suri doesn't care what she thinks. It's because it's the honest truth what she believes. However, apparently the next challenger has issued the challenge, and that person is none other than Suzuki. So she is now issuing the challenge for this belt. So I'm looking forward to see how that is going to compare to what Konami did. So we'll see where that goes. So let's move on to our last and final match, which is the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix. Now, it's going to be Momo Watanabe versus Zumi. Now, there's a lot of history between these two, if you guys don't know. If you know the history between Momo Watanabe and Azumi, you should know that these two ladies were in fact part of Queen's Quest, and they were under the direction of Io Sky, who at the time was known as Io Shirai. So as you probably remember, Io Sky was the leader of Queen's Quest. Azumi, Momo Watanabe were soldiers under her command. And of course, Azumi, as you all know, Io Sky left when she was signed by WWE. Momo Watanabe took control as the leader, while Izumi became the commander of Queen's Quest. But of course, back in 2021, Momo betrayed Queen's Quest by whacking Azumi with the chair, and I'm sure Azumi hasn't forgotten. And of course, Momo's ultimate goal was to see the demise of Queen's Quest, which already happened when they were able to expel Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, Lady C, and of course Hina out of Queen's Quest, leaving Saya Kamitani. And I'm sure Momo was hoping to see a demise in that fashion. But Azumi will never forgive what Momo Watanabe did, and you know for a while this was going to be a brawl. And of course, as always, that hate was definitely going to ensure this match was going to go. But there was a specific moment where Momo did not want them to get involved, because this was between these two. They used to be tag partners. They used to be friends. And she wants to be the one to do it. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, there were moments where you would have assumed Azumi had this match won. But no, it was Momo Watanabe who pulled it up when she applied some sort of a B driver. I'm not sure if that was the one. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, she's the winner of this year's 5-star Grand Prix. So she'll be facing Kamitani, which is going to be interesting to see. But the real question is, will she call her shot early, or will she wait until Dream Queendom, which is something I'm sure. Remember, Micah last year, she did not want to wait till Dream Queendom. She wanted to face Tam Nakano to get this belt. But the real question is, will Momo do the same thing? That's a question we're definitely going to be seeing. So we'll see what happens from here on out. As you all know, we'll be preparing in November for the start of the Goddess Tag League. So we'll wait until then. But as of right now, we are officially done with Stardom. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. Now, as always, let's begin with upcoming events from the promotions themselves. Now, on September 4th, it was announced by House of Glory for their Philadelphia show. We're going to have an interesting match. We have Shotzi Blackheart taking on Priscilla Kelly, formerly known as Gigi Dolan. That's going to be a very interesting match to watch. Now, on September 7th, in Shinjuku Face, Oz Academy has announced an interesting tag match. Sayori Anu will team up with Unagi Sayaka, so that's going to be a very interesting match to watch. And then, of course, we have Zones. They'll be facing against Zones and Rina Yamashita, who we've seen on few occasions as tag partners. Now, Deadlock Pro Wrestling has their Carolina Classic on the 14th of September for the Battle of the Best semifinals. We have Queen Aminata taking on Mei Shruga. All women's promotion in the UK, Pro Wrestling Eve, as announced for the Elite Encounter on the 7th of November. Yu will be making her appearance. Now, keep in mind, folks, this will be a month before Yu will be retiring. So, as you all know, she retires by the end of this year. And also, they announced that Willow Nightingale will be making her first appearance in many years to Eve as well. Now, Jersey Championship Wrestling has announced that Brian Keith will be participating in some upcoming shows. There's going to be the one at Asbury Park on the 21st of September, then the 26th of October in Richfield Park, and then also on the Richfield Park, it's going to be on the 14th of December. So that's pretty much it for the upcoming events. Now let's talk about certain developments here. Konosuke Takeshita, as you all know, he already is the winner of the G1 Climax. So it appears now he made his claim. Instead of waiting till Wrestle Kingdom, he decided to do what Zack Sabre Jr. did last year when he won the G1. He's going to challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight title at King of Pro Wrestling on the 28th of September. However, there is another... No, wait a minute. It's going to happen in October, my bad. King of Pro Wrestling is going to happen October 13th. But however, on the 28th of September, Zack Sabre Jr. will defend the IWGP World Heavyweight title in Kobe for destruction against Ren Narita. So whoever walks out from that match will face Takeshita at King of Pro Wrestling. So that's pretty much what we've been hearing. Now, for some interesting developments, if you guys are from the LA area, you may have known of this promotion called Knox Pro. Apparently, they are no longer in league with WWE ID. Let me pull up some things here. Yes, they're saying that they're removed from the WWE affiliation from their social media branding is headers of this afternoon. It would appear that WWE has severed ties with the promotion and academy as part of a fallout of an incident of Raja Jackson incident. Now, if you guys don't know what's going on, this is what I soon discovered, and this was reported by. This is what they're saying. There was a match that happened with Raja Jackson, who is the son of Rampage Jackson, where he took out Seiko Stu, and things got out of control. So basically, that's what led. They felt like they were disrespected for what they were doing. That all this, like, don't want nothing to do with it. So basically, their affiliation with WWID has diminished. So that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, I don't blame WWE for it, but they want to protect their reputation, which is obviously understanding. Now, recently, Dave Meltzer have talked about an interesting topic about Bryan Danielson. As you all know, Bryan Danielson recently, when they were doing the Glasslow event and Forbidden Door, he was on commentary, and this is what Dave Meltzer said. Bryan Danielson should be out there full-time commentating. He's bringing all these always think they are missing. He's mentioned every single one of those. He just does a great job. What explains so well is the subtleties of combat, the strategy combats, and he talks to amateur as he is smart. Now, do you guys agree with Dave Meltzer? Does Bryan Danielson should be a commentator? I mean, look, as much as I would say he may have done a good job, and I'm not going to deny that, but do you think that's what Bryan Danielson should do now that he's no longer, wrestling? I don't know. You guys tell me. Do you want to see him continue to do commentary even though he can't wrestle that much anymore? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, we are officially done with everything with our reviews and our news updates. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we'll be now entering with NXT. As you know, this will be the fallout after, of course, NXT Heatwave. So the real question we'll ask ourselves, where do we go from next? Well, that is something we'll definitely do. Now, I haven't decided what other reviews I want to do. I feel like I want to focus on what I can at this moment, but we'll see. I did make some changes regarding what I want to cut down. There are some events I want to review from Tokyo Shoko Wrestling, some that may date back either from back in June or July, depending on what I'm going to do, because I feel like these are more important events, others not so much, but we'll see how things will go from there. But there's also the Mighty Gold. Like I said, I mentioned I'm not going to do the Burning Desire tour. I'm just going to focus on the Dream Star Grand Prix, which is their annual round robin tournament. We should be entering in day 7 soon, but we'll see. Anything else? There's the Seedling Oz Academy. I'm not too worried too much about that. Just the major promotions. So we'll try to catch up as much as possible as we go. But as of right now, until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.